How do you replace an indoor coil in a brand new York gas package unit? If you've been selling York package units, then you have been replacing indoor coils. I've replaced several in today's video. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide of how to replace this type of coil in this type of unit. You're watching HVAC Tips for Technicians. This is Taddy Digest. I'm Tad. Let's get started. Came out here a couple weeks ago, found a leaking indoor coil. This sweet lady's 97 years old, and I sold her this unit a year ago. Now I'm going to show you the video where I came back a few days later to charge it back up because this is a fast leak and I needed her to stay cool until I got the part. So we're back. It's been 2 weeks. We're going to go ahead and put in this indoor coil. It's Sunday. She doesn't have any air conditioning, and I'm going to have to put some refrigerant in this even though it's going to leak back out. That way I can get her cool again because it is over 90 degrees outside. And even though she can take a little bit more than the younger generation, just because she is one of the last generations to grow up without air conditioning, and she's just tough, you'll find that older people are tougher than younger people, in my opinion, in my experience, from what I've seen and observed. But anyways, I'm gonna get her up and cooling again. I'm gonna order that new coil, and we're gonna install it. Brand new 2024 model package gas unit. Indoor coil. You can hear it, you can see it. Let's get these panels off. Before you start working on equipment, always disconnect the power. So we're going to turn the breaker off. Here's the indoor coil in the compressor section. It is pretty easy to get this out and get the new one in, and I'll show you how we're going to do it. Here's our service access fittings, and I'm going to take the caps off so that I can hook up my smart probes and see if there's any refrigerant left inside the system. They did say it stopped cooling yesterday, so it's probably empty, but we will see. So I got one of my smart probes connected. Definitely wear gloves if you're dealing with refrigerant and you're connecting gauges. All right, now connect the other one. 0 PSI. That is not good. Not good at all. Oh, I hear a little bit. You hear that? Just a little bit. So there's really no refrigerant left. All right, so this one is on the low side, right? Let's turn it on. And I'm gonna make this our LP, our low pressure. And this one's gonna be our high pressure since it's on the discharge line. Now we can go to the app. I can click on the probes and you can see our low and high side, like a little set of gauges on the phone. It's really cool. And I've got 0 PSI. So now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna take these caps off because there is a stem valve in the end where you can connect your hose if you want to add refrigerant. We're going to be using our nitrogen to braze. So I'm going to take out these stem valves while I unsweat this connection here. Man, there is no refrigerant. We don't want to unsweat any of these lines if there's a little pressure in the system. That would not be fun. That's not safe. All right, let's cut the zip tie here. Got to get these wires out of the way. We got to remove this bulb. So I've got to take all of this off. There's our bulb for our thermostatic expansion valve. All right, slide the bulb out. And then just take the rest of this off. And then I'm gonna take this off the line. This is what we're gonna unsweat right here, this connection. And then we're going to loosen this connection up. See where our distribution tubes are? And then it connects to this side of the TXV. We're gonna have to loosen this up and take this apart. So this apart and then this right here, and we can slide that coil out after we take the screws out on either side. Now, before we remove this coil, there's some things we need to do. Take off the compressor plug. That way you can be able to get it out of the way if we need to move it. Disconnect the condenser fan motor plug. Then I like to remove this screw up here. It's hard to remove without an extension. Definitely get an extension, see? Now we're gonna go right here. There's a screw right here, down at the bottom. And then we can move this out of the way, and then this panel will move more. Now, we want to switch from 5/16 to 1/4 inch, and we want to take these screws loose on each side, and then go down right here, and then down more at the bottom. 2 more. All right, now the coil should come out. Now we're going to hook up our hose to our suction service access fitting or discharge, doesn't matter. And then connect it to our nitrogen regulator. We're going to back out or adjust the regulator out. That way we can lower the pressure. Open up the nitrogen. Run it in to where it's about 3 to 6 psi. In between 3 to 6. Right there on the orange where it says Braze. Now we're flowing nitrogen. All right, now we're gonna set up our torches and we're gonna get this old coil out of here. Almost forgot, I got my high pressure switch wires. Take those off and get everything over here out of the way because we're gonna be heating this up right here. Now we can go ahead channel locks right here. Let's heat up this line. It's nice and warm. Think we can pull it now? There we go. Grab your crescent wrenches. We can go ahead and turn off our nitrogen. And then we are just going to put one here on this side. All right, now loosen that up. There's that. We're out. Now, what I like to do next is get a flathead screwdriver, and I like to bend the sides away from the coil before I slide it out. That way there's more room, we don't catch, and it's better that way because then the new coil goes in easier. Flathead screwdriver, just get in here and kind of make sure that coil's loose. And then over here in this panel, since we took the screws out, we should be able to take this piece, pull it out, and take this piece and it should come out. Careful of the wires, but this is a critical step for you to actually be able to get this coil out and not struggle. So definitely take that out of the way. All right, now, wires are out of the way. See the coil? Watch this. Get everything out of the way. Pull it over here. Old coil is out. Oh, yes. Now, let's get this new coil in. For putting the new coil in, this is what I do. I take it past this lip, I set it in, and then push it in sideways. Make sure you've got it in between the tracks for the pan. All right. Now we're going to push the coil in straight. All right. Okay. Yeah, that was a better idea. It's almost in there. All right. It's in there. Now let's put this piece back in place. Don't forget to put your wires back in place before you put this panel all the way back in. So there it is. Now bring it back to where it was. Beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and reconnect the distribution tube connector here to one side of that thermostatic expansion valve, or TXV. Oh, you hear that? They're shipped with dry nitrogen, which is great. It means there's not a leak in this new coil. As you can see up here. See? Shipped with nitrogen. Now we can take this off. Make sure it has the Teflon ring. Bend it over here to that thermostatic expansion valve. And let's go ahead and reconnect. Oh, Teflon ring fell out. Definitely got to put that back in, otherwise we're going to have a leak. Now for this aluminum connection here, you do not want to cross thread it, and you do not want to over tighten it. Oh yeah, beautiful. All right, that's on. I'm not going to tighten it yet. We got a new filter dryer. We're not going to disconnect this side of the TXV. We are going to unsweat this filter dryer and put this one in its place. You can see that this is much larger, so hopefully we have room for this. You can see one side is larger than the other. We got 3/8 on this side, looks like 1/2 inch or 5/8 over here. So we're going to go ahead, and this does not look like it's going to work. Actually, it looks like we got to cut it right here. So yeah, I'm probably going to cut that, because we got the tubing cutters in here. We're cutting this side. That way we can actually utilize that new filter dryer. Now we're going to unsweat, and we're going to be doing some brazing. So got the nitrogen flowing. Now we're going to be sweating next to the TXV, so I'm going to put a rag over here on that valve. There we go. Now you're going to need your channel locks, your lighter, and of course your torches. We're ready. Let's go. You can do it. You don't need as much heat for the 3/8 fitting. You hear that sizzling from that wet towel. All right. So almost there. Come on, you can do it. All right, it should be there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. All right, get that out of there. Now let's go ahead and unbraze this connection here. This is our outlet pipe for our evaporator. Turn up the heat a little bit. We're not running out, are we? Maybe running out of oxygen. We running out? That's a little better. A little close. All right, that's off. All right, now we're going to go ahead and push this pipe here past the other connection, like so. That way when we bring it back, it'll go in. It's not going in because we need this pipe to be a little bigger. What can we do? Well, we can do a little bit of this. Look at that. Look at that. So now it'll go in there. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger though, because I need it to really go in there. Look at that. That's beautiful. Would you just look at it? Would you look at it? Oh yeah, look at that. Man, that's nice. All right, filter dryer in place. Cut a piece of 1/2 inch copper. Slip it in here. Slip this side in, boop. And then this side, it should go. I'll probably have to heat that up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and heat this up and go ahead and braze it in. I'm gonna braze this and this first. All right. Get the big boy first. I'm gonna heat it up and then make sure I push it in. Come on. Yep, see how it, oh. I may need to hold it for a second. All right, now it's in place. Let's get the top part. All right, let's get this. Man, I'm running out of, see. I'm running out of oxygen. Always bring an extra oxygen and acetylene tank with you. I'm so glad I brought one with me. Or just check your levels. Check your levels before you leave the shop. So now I got plenty. All right, let's go ahead and reopen the nitrogen tank, set the pressure, and let's finish the job that we started. All right. Hit this side of this. See, I've wrapped the filter dryer. Oh, look at that. All we got to do is fill in the crack. Oh yeah. Make sure we get the top. All right, now we'll go over here. That way I can Really heat up that back part. Just to make sure we get it. All right, I think we got this. Now, make sure I got this, which I'm sure I did. Ooh, look at that on the bottom. That is not nice. That doesn't look good. It looks like we got this. I'll go ahead and heat it up one more time and then just put a little more around it. Make sure you have your inspection mirror. You need your inspection mirror. Now let's get some more water for our rag. And then we're gonna go ahead and braze the other side of that filter dryer. If you're scared you're gonna overheat the filter dryer, make sure you bring some wet rags or some rags so you can wet them. Now, last braze is right here. Filter dryer is wrapped, TXV is wrapped. Let's get this hot and finish it up. Melt like butter. Now let me get the other side. All right, I'm going to disconnect the hose for the nitrogen temporarily and put the stem valves back in place. We're no longer going to be brazing, and hopefully we don't have any leaks. I don't think we do. I like to make sure I don't have leaks by just adding more and more solder. Really filling in those connections, so we should be good. Now, we're going to go ahead and reconnect the nitrogen. Oh, we are going to have a leak though, because I do need to tighten up this fitting, remember? Now, as far as tightening up these fittings, when it's aluminum, you want to go maybe a half turn, maybe a quarter turn past hand tight. Really doesn't need much. I'm going to show you. That right there is probably it. If you wrap these connections when you're brazing, then your Teflon ring will still be good. If you don't, you're going to melt it and you're going to have a leak. Now we're going to go ahead and turn on my probe so I can see how much pressure is in the system. Now I'm going to open my regulator and really run it in. Awesome. And then I'm just going to soak test everything. Make sure I don't have any leaks. Still adding nitrogen. I want to get it to at least 300 psi, and then I'm going to let it set. There we go. See, 311, 309. That's pretty good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. Now I'm going to let the nitrogen out. Gauges are connected. Vacuum pump's ready to be turned on. Turn it on. Make sure the ballast is open. Make sure our connections are tight. Looks like we're pulling into a vacuum. Good deal. Get the bulb where you want it, 10 and 2. Back on the suction pipe. We'll wrap that up. Reconnect all your wires. Got the harness connected to the compressor, high pressure switch wires in place. See? Fan wire reconnected. Now let's go ahead and change out from our 5/16 to our 1/4 inch. And screw this panel back into the coil. We're done with the vacuum pump. This unit holds 7 pounds factory charge. So, got the refrigerant on the scales. Let's go ahead and Shut this pump off. Close my gauges. Let's hook up the refrigerant. Got the refrigerant connected. Scales are synced. Bleed the air out. Take the scales, clear them, open up, charging liquid through the high side. I'm gonna make this read 7 pounds. Then we're gonna go start this system up, check the superheating subcooling. We got about 5.5 pounds so far, 5 pounds, 9 ounces. I'm gonna come over here, turn the breaker back on. Oh, it must be set to cool. It's on. Now I'm gonna add the rest. Added the factory charge, 7 pounds. Let's see what our superheating subcooling is. Low side pressure 150, saturation 52. Let's check suction line temp. 59 looks like. So 59 and 52, 7 degrees of superheat. 339 with a saturation, this is the high side pressure, a saturation of 104. Liquid line temperature, 104 and 99. So that is 5 degrees of subcooling. All right, it's charged, it's working, I'm happy. I'm gonna use some wire ties and wire tie these wires up. And then of course, I've gotta wrap the bulb. See, I didn't wrap the bulb yet. We got the unit up and running, it's back, it's cooling, and this lady will no longer suffer in this 90-degree plus heat. The worst part about this is having to front or cover the cost of the labor and refrigerant every time I have to put one of these coils in on these York units. And I've had to do this several times. I've had to do compressors and coils, and if it's, you know, a year old, a year and a half, 2 years old, 3 years old, I'm gonna cover it because it shouldn't be leaking at this age. It should be 10 years, then we're replacing leaking coils, not 1, 2, 3 years. So if you wanna keep your customers and you wanna keep your business in good shape, then you're gonna cover the cost. Now it's gonna hurt. And some businesses can't do it. The larger businesses are suffering even more than the smaller businesses because they're putting in more of this equipment. Now I no longer sell York. Why? Because of this right here. I can't afford it. I cannot afford to sell York because I can't afford to do this. And I've done this probably 3 times in the last couple of weeks, and I should be busy working on older legacy equipment, existing equipment that's been out there for 10, 20 years. And I'm doing that, and I'm able to repair those pieces of equipment. But these, it's ridiculous. I hope that you guys learn something from this and you're able to avoid having to do this in the field. But if you do have to do it, hopefully this video helps you. If you want more videos like this, go check out my playlist, HVAC Tips for Technicians. I've got hundreds of videos of live experience in the field as a technician to help you be a better technician. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, smash that bell, ding, so you know what I'm doing. You've been watching HVAC Tips for Technicians. I'm Tad, this was Taddy Digest, and I'll keep you cool if you let me.